We're here at the World Fly Fishing Championships at the end of day one. It's been an amazing day of competition and we've got 4 more days to go. 150 competitors, 23 countries across 5 venues. I'm joined by Martin Droz, a former world champion, and Tom Jarman, who's currently competing in the competition for Australia. Guys, what an amazing day. The weather's been absolutely incredible. We've had snow up in the highlands and we've had a sunny, windy day down on the rivers. Tom, perhaps tell us a little first about your experience today and what you've heard from the other competitors about the conditions.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was on woods today and it's probably one of the first times I've had snow on woods. There was hail, there was rain, there was snow, there was sunshine. It was a bit all over the place. It was one of the few times you'd call, say a lake actually has swell on it because the waves were just rolling. But yeah, it was interesting. And the fishing was tough. It just felt cold, bit shut down. Yeah, it was interesting.
And Martin, what are your observations perhaps on that you were out on the rivers today, yeah? On how the beats played out?
Yeah, I was walking just down the rivers and I'm happy because it was nice weather there. So look, it's the river, so it's about the beats and the random draw of the beats. And some beats are better, some beats are worse. That's how it is, always and everywhere.
Yep. And you were saying before that the upper sections of both rivers tend to fish more productively than the lower sections?
No, it's Meander, the upper section,
right.
Supposed to be probably better.
Yeah.
But, you know, the results show something not completely different, but even some of the top sections from Meander are not so productive.
Right.
But
so challenging day on the rivers.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
You know, the weather, even for the rivers, is not good. So it's not much hedge, not much insects, so tough fishing.
Yep. Well, let's go and check out a bit more information about Meander, having spent a day on that river.
The Meander River is a tail race. It runs out of Huntsman Dam. The water comes out of the bottom of the dam and it runs cold and clear all season long. The top sections of the river have a lot of boulders, a lot of pockets, and the further down you go, the flatter it gets before it heads into a more meadow stream style river. The Meander will see mayfly hatches, caddis, and some terrestrial activity throughout the year. It holds a large population of wild brown trout, but in recent years it's held more rainbow trout through seedings done by Inland Fisheries Service. Throughout the competition, competitors will do a lot of nymphing as well as some dry fly fishing on this river. However, with the weather forecast for this week, we may see that the dry fly activity will be greatly reduced and competitors will lean more towards nymphing, nymph under dry, maybe some streamers and spiders as well.
Some great information about the Meander there. Now let's go and hear from Brett Bishop, the captain of the USA team.
The role of the captain varies from dealing with the logistics along with the team manager, setting up practices and the competitions within our country. And once we hit the road, I deal a lot with the logistics and making sure we have the right guide. We had a great guide in Australia, and finding a place to stay and then just kind of herding the cats, really, making sure everybody's where they're supposed to be when they're supposed to be. Our team is such an experienced team. It's not like the role of the captain is, I'm telling these guys how to fish. What I'm doing is facilitating for them the opportunity to reach their potential as anglers.
I spent the second part of the afternoon with Jean Bonneau on the Mersey River. Let's hear how his day went.
I use nymph, only nymph, and dry fry. I see the trout and fish with a little dry. Yes, many trout. For me, 18 trout in this bit is very good.
It was a cold day on the lakes and they sure looked like it when they came off. But Jonathan Stagg had a big smile on his face. Here's why.
I've just had my first session on Little Pine Lagoon on a very rough, windy, snow, cold day. But there was a few fish about out there. mean, it's a great start. So that's what I wanted. I wanted a good start. We're the host nation. We've got a bit of an advantage that we know these waters, but we need to take advantage of it in the early sessions. And so it was really nice to have a great start.
Now here are the results from today. Penstock Lagoon had some really mixed results on it. Martin, how did we go?
It's quite interesting. I know Penstock a little bit, so I know how many fish you can expect to catch. And even in tough conditions, 11 fish for Howard Croston is quite nice result. He's great lake angler. Rene Cobbs, 10 fish, that's awesome, that's awesome. I know him very well and he deserves it. He's a gold individual medalist from Masters in South America. So that's good. I'm a little bit surprised with Russ Miller, but I'm sure he will do better next sessions.
He's down at number 22.
Yeah, he's quite low, but he will make it better next time, I'm sure.
Yeah. And moving on, we've got the results from Meander. Tom, what do you think about the day's results? They're pretty split.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, when you look at who's done really well, you've got Italy, Czech, they drew high, and the high beats are expected to fish really well. The low beats, there were some surprise results with Australia and France having a tough session down lower, but that's pretty much due to the weather. Those beats really struggled today in the big winds. There's no protection, quite difficult down low.
Are there names you expected to see at the top of that table?
Absolutely.
And ones that aren't?
Oh, they're pretty much there. If you look at some of the top four, that includes Jordi Oliveras, Lance Egan, Pavel Tiba, all individual medalists, so some fantastic angles at the top there.
And Christopher Bassano, the Australian, he had a very challenging session today by the looks of it.
Yeah, he had a tough session, but he's amazing and he knows the waters and he'll bounce back tomorrow and absolutely smash it on Woods, I'm sure.
Yeah. And Woods Lake, again, tough conditions up there. I think the winds were up to 55 k's an hour today or something like that up on the highlands.
Cold.
Tom, you were up there. What did it feel like up there?
It was weird. It was a combination of hail, snow, rain, and then sun, which was really warming on the hands.
Have you ever seen anything like that before?
I haven't had snow on Woods before. No, I haven't had snow there before. That's pretty amazing. But I just couldn't believe the waves. That was unreal. It made line control really hard. It meant, missed fish, lost opportunities, that sort of thing. So it was going to be tough.
Yeah. And how did that affect the fishing, do you think, in terms of the way, not just yourself, but the other anglers approach?
Yeah, it's not something that particularly European anglers and continental European anglers see, big winds like that. And we're quite used to it here in Tassie, but it's not easy. I found it a really hard session. At no point did you feel like it was under control and you were comfortable with the number of fish you were catching. It was awful.
So you must be pretty pleased with your result at fifth for the day, given it was such challenging conditions.
Yeah, the first session you never know how many you really need, and if you can just stay in the top few throughout the competition, you'll have a really good comp. And then if your whole team finishes like in the top 10 in their sessions and stays high, you're pretty much up there for a medal potentially. So if you just keep up high and do your bit and do your job, hopefully it works out.
Yep. And the Mersey River, which I spent a bit of time on this afternoon, I was actually, as I said earlier, watching John Benoit, and I've got to say he was fishing that river like a machine from my point of view, and I think we've got the results to show for it with him at number one. Martin, what are your thoughts?
Look, I have to say I know that beat a little bit, and it's not easy beat to fish that section of the river, and like 18 fish from out there, it's really a really good result. It's really good. Just one little note to the weather. This might be first World Championship ever, which is fished in the snow.
Right. Okay.
I'm not
ever,
sure, but
even
ever.
in European countries, and
I don't remember.
It's meant to be a summer sport.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Okay. It is December.
Yeah. First week of summer.
Little Pine can be a challenging lake at the best of times, and I think today, probably up there with some of the most challenging conditions that most anglers would have seen. Yeah.
Definitely, absolutely.
agree 100%.
I mean,
Tom, what are your thoughts?
yeah, you look at Little Pine, and of all the sectors, Penstock's probably the most protected. Then Woods second most, because you can at least get behind some of the hills there. Little Pine in a southwesterly like we've been having, it just funnels over the dam wall, so you can't escape it. Wherever you go, you're going to be in the wind. There's no hiding, and yeah, people were trying to hide today. You saw a lot of people tucked up onto the shores trying to get out of it, but there's really no escape.
Yeah, yeah. And go on.
Actually, organizers, they were thinking about last week to cancel this session because of weather forecast.
Right, okay, yeah. So the results we're seeing with Jonathan Stagg, as we saw earlier, 13 fish
Awesome.
on a day like today.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's a really
pretty
good number.
result.
And if you look at the guy who came second, Heikki, Kurti from Finland, he caught 8 fish, so it's quite big difference
Yeah.
between them, and so it's a very nice, very good fishing from Jonathan.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and if you look at Jonathan, I believe was in the boat with Josh Graffam of USA as well. So, and Josh is down there. He got 6 fish, which is still very good in those conditions. But for Staggy in the boat with him to double him, that's an awesome effort.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sensational. Really sets him up well, I'd imagine, for the week.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And team results. Czech Republic up the top. Is that a surprise, guys?
They are good.
Yeah.
Look, it is surprise on one side, and other side I'm not surprised, because they are just great anglers
Right.
and good competitors. But why it's surprising? They caught just few fish in the practice last week of practice. They caught just few fish, so they go well. But look, it's just first session, and it will mix up and down a lot. So we'll see next days.
And it's a really interesting, like it's a weird format this year, the one session over 5 days. Normally we're used to looking at results after day one where there have been 2 sessions. So people have kind of found their groove, they're into it, they've had a few sessions under their belts. So yeah, it's interesting. You can have, some teams may here have had some bad river draws, and then that's why they're down. Whereas after tomorrow, we may find that it'll just shift and even out a little bit, potentially.
Yeah. And Australia, of course, coming 6th today. How's the team feeling about their position so far?
Yeah, pretty good. I mean, you always want to be, it's a nice platform to start. If you actually look at the points, there's only 7 points that separate 3rd place and 6th place, or even 3rd place and 7th place there. So that's one good session on a river. And then suddenly you're in the top 3, and like you can track down, even Czech Republic, you can track them down very easily.
This is only first session.
Yeah, so there's a long, long way to go, and I reckon, yeah, in these conditions and stuff, hopefully it should play out quite well.
Too many
for us.
blanks in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everything changes, right? Yeah. Well, I think with 4 days of competition to go, and the weather not looking like letting up at this stage, anything could happen. We look forward to joining you tomorrow. Thanks for joining Fly Life TV.